in a recession/depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
But the defund the police idea, I cannot for the life of me grasp.
Mentioned it.
Now to the race for the White House, and after decades of very publicly flirting with the idea, billionaire Donald Trump says he really is running for president this time around.
Donald Trump is running for president.
This phrase is not from any movie I, nor my colleagues can remember.
Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself, and you will find the truth behind what Joe Biden has not done for our community and the truth as to what Donald Trump has done for our community.
We're talking about basement Biden, right? What is his agenda? Has he really even told us what his agenda is?
Remember, this Congress started off with the Democrats saying we should abolish ICE. It then moved to we should abolish the entire Department of Homeland Security.
We have to go to the polls on November 3rd, and the rest you know what to do. You know what to do. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will make America great again.
Welcome to Team Trump Online.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Erin Perini here for this evening's Army for Trump online boot camp. We are excited for this evening's broadcast as I will be joined by Hannah Castillo, Director of Coalitions for the Trump campaign. Hi, Hannah. How are you?
Hey, Erin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. And Swati Singh, Director of Strategic Initiatives for Trump Victory. Hi, Swati.
Hi, Erin.
As we begin tonight's broadcast, we're going to be talking about the coalition's efforts throughout the campaign, bringing in groups to talk about President Trump's success and his message of promises made and promises kept, and what 4 more years will mean for America. As we begin, I want to ask you, Hannah, can you tell me a little bit about your role, what you do on the campaign, and kind of what a day looks like a little bit?
Yeah, so I have the funnest job and the coolest job I think I'll ever have. The Coalitions Department, we do all the Women for Trump, Latinos for Trump, Black Voices for Trump, any for Trump coalition or rally sign that you see, that's us. And you know, it's building grassroots coalitions, but it's also brand building. So logos, merchandise you see, but also finding real supporters like Latina supporters who support the president, Black supporters who support the president, and showcasing that and highlighting that despite what the fake news says, these people support the president and so do their friends. So that's the easiest way I can describe it.
No, that's great. And that's right, because I hear all of the time from reporters about how they think that Black voters don't support the president, that women don't support the president, and that's just not true. Swati, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what your role looks like on the Trump Victory side of this?
Yeah, in my role as the Trump Victory Initiative Strategic Initiatives Director, I work in partnership with Hannah and the Trump Coalitions team and our national field team, and we make sure that our coalition volunteers are really integrated and involved at the grassroots level. They're out there registering voters, they're out there going door to door and making calls for President Trump to make sure that we're getting the messages out there to the different communities.
It's so important that we stay active and engaged in every way we can to push past the fake news who want to try and paint a picture that's different than the reality we see every day on the ground with the campaign. And Hannah, when we talk about the campaign, about this coalitions program, it's like nothing that's ever been seen before in any campaign, let alone a presidential campaign. I mean, you in partnership with Brad Parscale and the president have kind of broken the mold and rebuilt it to a really successful coalitions initiative. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, all credit goes to the president and his family and Brad for truly embracing and understanding the importance of coalitions. I've been in politics for almost 10 years now, and I've never seen the true and sincere commitment to build out coalitions of supporters that this campaign has done. And it's not a talking point. I mean, it's true. You'd never see a coalitions director as a member of the senior staff campaign. I report directly to Brad. Normally, we're kind of layered underneath there. By budgeting, we have a pretty hefty budget, and that's for ad spends, it's for staff, it's for making coalitions fun and cool again. It's tremendous. And hopefully, we'll talk a little bit later about what we're partnering with Swati on, the community centers as well. It's never been done before. It's never been seen before. I mean, from our microsites, our text keywords, I could spend all day talking about how historic this is, but the Democrats have been taking these voters for granted, and we're not.
I mean, Hannah, you're right, and that's a good point. We're light years ahead of the Democrats and Joe Biden, who continue to take Americans for granted, including Black Americans, women, Latinos, you name it. Joe Biden just thinks he deserves that vote, but he doesn't have the record for that. Swati, can you talk a little bit about how far ahead we are of the Joe Biden Sleepy Joe's campaign in the basement?
Erin, thanks so much for asking this question. This allows me to brag on the RNC data team and our data department and just highlight the amazing infrastructure the RNC has built around data. Sleepy Joe and the DNC just found out what data is. But RNC data allows Hannah and I to work together on coalitions through a data-driven approach that's effective and targeted. We also have tools like the Trump app that allow you to find coalition events near you. You can sign up to be part of Army for Trump and have access to Trump Talk, which allows you to make calls from the comfort of your home. Transitioning to a virtual campaign in 24 hours, we have broken down barriers to entry for our coalition volunteers. They're moms, small business owners, seniors, and students, and we've been able to bring the campaign directly to them. I want to highlight Amy. She's a mother of 4 and a small business owner in Arizona. She's never gotten involved in politics before. She was trained on a virtual platform at one of our coalition branded trainings, and all 4 of her children were in sight, and she's been making calls ever since. We're just able to bring the campaign to our coalition volunteers and coalition members in a way that we've never been able to before.
I mean, that's right. That's one thing about this campaign that people really don't understand in the media and just in general, is that we take our message and we find a way to bring it to people that's most approachable to them. Is it being able to make phone calls at home? Is it being able to join a coalition branded event? Whatever it is, however people want to get involved, there's a space for them here on Team Trump and with Trump Victory. And as we look ahead, we're about to start hitting a little bit more toward the general election. It's really hard to believe. I mean, we're a little more than 4 months from Election Day. I don't know how that happened so quickly. It was a blink of an eye. I mean, yesterday was 1 year since we launched Latinos for Trump, and that feels like it was yesterday. But we're starting early voting and soon in some of these states. Swati, what can you tell me about what that looks like, what the ground game is around that, and how we're going to be able to help with that?
Well, Trump Victory has created the largest ground game in history. This cycle, I'm very proud to say that Hannah and I have worked together to really make sure that our coalition efforts are completely integrated into the National Field Program. During the last National Week of Action, the field team made 10 million calls, which is unprecedented this early in the cycle. I mean, it's just amazing work that our field teams are doing. And that week alone, in partnership, we activated thousands of coalition volunteers through hundreds of coalition trainings. I want to highlight Sunny Wong. She's an APA for Trump team leader in Georgia. She's single-handedly building an APA Army for Trump by recruiting and activating volunteers and really helping get the president's message out there. It's amazing what our coalition volunteers have been able to do in supporting our field teams.
This is what it's all about, is being able to bring more people into the fold, having them help join the team and helping get that message out there. And Hannah, you hinted at it a little bit at the beginning, and I want to go back and touch on it. You mentioned community centers. And again, when we talk about this campaign being kind of bigger, badder, and better than any before, and breaking the political mold, not only in terms of coalitions, but in terms of outreach, this is one of those really kind of cool things that we're doing. What can you tell us about the community centers?
So this is something I've been working with Swati and the political team on, and I'm so excited about it. So, and I mentioned this, we've never had really these really truly awesome branded coalitions, from merchandise to logos to fully blown out microsites and advisory boards. Well, what we're doing is we're taking that to the field into what Swati's team does. And so we are doing fully coalition branded field offices. This is like a traditional office, but it's going to be branded, with our coalition logos, whether it's Black Voices or Latinos for Trump. You'll see any one of those, and based on the data is where we're putting those offices. So if there is a high population of Latinos in one of our key states, we're going to put one of those offices there. Then you go inside the field office. It's got custom literature, custom merchandise. It's got a field staffer who reflects the community, and we're working with Swati's team. So what we're doing up here at the top is reflective, and we're building grassroots support down at the field level. That's never been done before. It's so awesome. I'm so excited, and I geek out over custom literature because I'm a nerd. I've been doing this for 10 years, and Swati and I were geeking out the other day on universes. So it's just never happened before.
I mean, that's the point, right? Is that we're going to be able to not only be in these communities, but we're investing in these communities with these centers to make sure that not only are we getting the message out there, but that it makes sense. We're not just blanketing everybody with the same idea. We're sharing all these different touch points we can to engage people. And it's sad and funny in the same time. I got a phone call yesterday from a reporter who was saying that they don't think that women are in the leadership roles on the campaign. And I actually laughed because it is probably the funniest thing I've heard, because Hannah, you're the director of coalitions. Swati, you're the director of strategic initiatives. I'm the director of press communications, and we're all women. It's really laughable to see that people still don't get it. And actually, a majority of the Trump campaign staff is women. I think every reporter should hear me loud and clear that we are actually a female-forward campaign. Swati, what's it like being a woman on the team and in this role?
There is a misconception out there. The three of us are proof of this. There are so many women and minorities in senior positions on this campaign to help reelect the president. And we just show that this is a false narrative. And we see this every day on the campaign trail. The Las Vegas rally was so diverse. It was one of our most diverse rallies. But of course, you didn't hear anything about that from the fake news. And I also just wanted to highlight on a point, we're working with these coalitions and we're able to do things. I'm so proud that, Hannah and I, working with our coalitions teams, have been able to do trainings and events in 7 different languages. We've just never done anything like that. And you really just don't hear about it in the fake news.
Well, why would they cover something good when all they want to do is talk poorly about President Trump, who, I don't know, last month in May brought on over 2 million jobs into this country. And we have a boom. We're going to be able to go back to our booming economy because of him. Hannah, what can you tell me about being a Latina woman in leadership here on this campaign?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the fake news and reporters still claim that women don't have a seat at a table is hilarious to me, because I'm on the phone with Brad and other senior members of this campaign, and I'm a millennial, I'm Latina, I'm a mom too, and oftentimes I'll be in a room with a lot of people who have way more experience than me, and they're always turning to me and saying, Hannah, what do you think? What's your opinion on this? I want to know where Hannah stands. I mean, I got an email just this morning from someone on that, and I've been in politics for a while, and I will say the Trump administration and the Trump campaign is just light years ahead of where everyone thinks we are. It's quite offensive to me. And I joined the campaign a little over a year ago, and after I joined the campaign, signed all the paperwork, I found out that I was expecting a baby girl. And I was so nervous because, we're often, women told oh my gosh, you can only do the mom thing or do the work thing. And I was so nervous about it. But when I told Brad, I, was so surprised. He was like, okay, we'll be flexible. You do you come back when you're ready, and we'll work around your schedule 100%. And the entire senior staff and everyone, you, Aaron, and Swati were so supportive of me. I took 2 months off from a presidential campaign as a senior staff member, and no one batted an eyelash. No one bats an eyelash when I leave early to go take care of my baby girl either. She's 7 months old, and I feel so empowered. I've just on both aspects, and I know it's just kind of crazy. I feel empowered as a working mom. I feel empowered as a political operative on this campaign. So fake news, keep lying, keep telling everyone that we're going to do our thing here.
7 months old? Holy smokes, where did the time go? Oh my gosh.
I was pregnant at the Latinos for Trump launch that we did in Miami. And now she's like full grown 7-month-old baby. It's like the full circle.
So
oh my gosh. She's going to be like, it feels like when we're done with this campaign, she's going to be graduating high school. She's going to be like that. It's going to be in a blink of an eye. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back with Army for Trump right after this.
Hey everybody, I'm Lara Trump. The race to November is heating up and the Trump campaign is gearing up to work harder than ever before to secure 4 more years for President Trump. To achieve this historic win, we need you, your friends, your neighbors, and your families to join our movement. Ready to fight for President Trump? Text ENLIST to 88022 and register at armyfortrump.com today.
We know you want to give Donald Trump 4 more years to fight for you in Washington, but he isn't just up against Joe Biden. He's up against the Democrat fundraising machine, and he needs all the help he can get. Don't just assume because his opponent hasn't completed a single sentence that this campaign is over. Crazy things happen, like this woman becoming Speaker of the House. Support the president today by texting Trump to 88022. Donald Trump is counting on every single one of his supporters to text Trump to 88022 now.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this evening's Army for Trump online boot camp. I'm Erin Perini, Director of Press Communications on President Trump's campaign. Joining me tonight is Swati Singh and Hannah Castillo. Both are directors of the Coalitions and Strategic Initiatives departments between the Trump campaign and Trump victory. Yesterday, we saw President Trump in Wisconsin at a big, beautiful ship manufacturer talking about how the economy will come back and what that prosperity will look like. Let's take a quick clip look at what President Trump was saying yesterday in Wisconsin.
Manufacturing was never going to come back. Well, it did come back, and it came back big. But I understand. I have an aptitude for manufacturing, and I said it's got to come back, and it will come back, and we were doing great, and we'll do now even better.
Hannah, we just saw President Trump talk about manufacturing coming back to the United States. We remember former President Obama saying, you'll need a magic wand. Well, good news for America, that magic wand was President Trump. How big of an impact do you think the economy is going to have on the November election?
I mean, I think it's going to have a huge impact. At the end of the day, run-of-the-mill voters, rank-and-file union members, working moms, Latinas, Black voices, like you name it. If the economy is thriving, if they've got jobs, they can put food on the table for their families. That's what's going to matter to them, honestly. And, you know, I talk to, hundreds, and my team talks to hundreds of voters, just average voters, every day. And the most shocking thing I think I would hear from them is like, wow, the president really brought back the economy. He gave me a job. He gave me the ability to do more for my family and has empowered me to put more opportunities in front of them. And I think the reason why it's so surprising to me, we live here in the DC bubble, and I always hear economy and jobs and like, does that really work? And it does. At the end of the day, if people can work and provide for their family in a thriving economy, they're happier. And I think they'll vote on it.
I mean, the economy is important, and President Trump delivered the hottest economy on record that had to be artificially interrupted by the coronavirus. When we compare the work President Trump did to build that strong economic foundation, tax cuts, deregulation, opportunity zones, the list goes on and on and on when we talk about what President Trump has done. You compare that with basement barely there Joe Biden, and not only his terrible 40-plus year record as a senator, but also as vice president. Swati, what do you think about Joe Biden's chances on really being able to help this economy and move things forward?
Basement Biden is beholden to the far left extremists, and that ideology is detrimental for the American economy. Biden supported China. It ripped off American workers and American jobs. Biden's plan to increase taxes would send American jobs overseas. The only thing Joe Biden has ever built was an unfair economy and bad trade deals. President Trump is the only answer for the great American comeback. He has two simple rules: buy American and hire American.
And let's not forget, too, under President Trump, there was record low unemployment for both Black and Latino Americans. That's more people who have jobs.
That's right. I mean, President Trump delivered for large swaths of the country, for Americans, for their opportunity. You mentioned Latino and Black Americans. We saw record low unemployment for women and for veterans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And we saw a really strong record of labor force participation where more people were coming off the sidelines and stepping back into work under President Trump. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And it's really exciting to be able to see what were promises made are promises kept by the Trump administration. So Swati, when we talk about the campaign, promises made, promises kept, how did you get involved in politics and get to where you are today?
I started my political career as a field organizer in Nevada over a decade ago. I understand the hard work and dedication it takes to win at the grassroots level. I mean, I feel so fortunate to be part of Team Trump. You know, this is going to be the most important election of our lifetime, and I'm just very excited to be here to help reelect President Trump.
Hannah, how about you? How'd you get started?
I like to say it was in high school when I ran for freshman class president. I kind of but you know, I've been in politics for a little over 10 years, running either local races, working for county and state parties. I worked at the RNC too. And what's really cool is me and Swati both worked at the field level for the SI team. I think it was back in 2014. She was doing Asian American engagement. I was doing Hispanic engagement. And we've kind of just, you know, come up through the ranks. We worked really hard. I've knocked doors in like 110-degree heat. I've been chased by dogs, like you name it. So to be here and to be in this position, you know, thanks to the president and his family and Brad, it means a lot to me. You know, we worked hard to get here.
I mean, that's right. It's great to be able to, everybody comes from a different background to get involved in politics. And especially on Team Trump, we all come from everywhere. I mean, there are people who coming into politics is like their second career. Or me, I marched in my first parade as a little kid for my grandfather when he was running for a city court judge. We had homemade campaign T-shirts. I mean, they said, send my grandpa back to court. They're really good branding, I gotta say. But it's fun to be able to see how everybody gets involved and gets empowered on this team to be part of this movement for President Trump. Hannah, how can people who are watching tonight come and join the movement, be part of the Army for Trump?
Well, you can, if you want to join a coalition, check out donaldjtrump.com/coalitions. We have all of our launched coalitions there. You can go and you can sign up as well and check us out. But, you know, if you don't have the time to do maybe a full day of door knocking or phone calls, joining a coalition will figure out how to get you plugged in. The cool thing is we have almost 1 million coalition members across all of the 16 coalitions that we've launched. And we make sure we engage them at every level. And where Swati's team comes in is we try to engage people through TVLIs, like on the field and the ground. If you can't do that, you can at least get email signups from us, like our social media content, and share it with a friend.
I mean, that's right. And there's so many great ways, depending on how people want to get involved, whatever the time it is they have and whatever talent they can share, you can really be part of this movement. And to kind of finish on a little bit of a lighthearted note, Swati, tell me one of the funniest stories about your time on the campaign in politics.
It's actually, it's one of my favorite stories, and it is a funny story, but there, you know, we have all of these trainings that we have across the country, and it was a Woman for Trump phone bank training, and there's this an 87-year-old volunteer, never been involved. I want to say that she, you know, she wasn't comfortable on the internet. She learned how to make calls on Trump Talk. One of our staffers helped train her, talked her through it, sat on the virtual training with her all night, and she made calls until she was cut off, until she hit up the cutoff time, just to get President Trump's message out there. But it's you know, I appreciate our staff and our team being patient and kind, and taking that time. She's just, and she, she's now made thousands of calls for the president, but really just getting on there, not knowing what it was, being a little confused, being open to learning. It's one of my favorite stories, but it's also it's great when we talk about it and look back at it with her and how we've empowered her, to be involved. It's very exciting.
Hannah, do you have a story you can share with us as well?
I do, and I have to say one of my favorite stories ever is probably from my time at the White House, where and I was in a function where I got to bring in just real Americans to the White House, and it was a really cool thing. And I organized kind of a visit for the president to meet with Pearl Harbor survivors, and it was like one of the most moving and impactful things like in my entire career. And you had these survivors, and they're older gentlemen. There was about 5 of them. And I spent like 7 hours with them that day. And leading up to them walking into the Oval Office, they would grab me and they would say, "I'm so excited. I've never been to the White House. No one's ever treated me this nicely." And we got into the Oval Office, and the president took way longer than we had scheduled to just talk with them. And he made them feel so appreciated and welcomed that one of them teared up, and we left the Oval Office and he just was crying. And it moved me, and this is a side of the president that does not get reported, but he cares so much about the American people. And that was just such a moving day for me to see these brave men who have fought for our country to then be honored by the president like that. And it was so sincere and so moving. Of course, there was no fake news there, and even if they were, they wouldn't report it, but it was one of my favorite memories ever.
That's amazing.
Wow. See, that's the thing. People don't understand this president's heart. They don't understand that he truly cares about every American. He doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, where you come from. It doesn't matter to him. If you're an American, that's what he puts first. And you've seen it in everything he's done. He has a heart for America. And that's reflected not only in the whole campaign, but especially in our coalitions. It's their, the coalition's job to get that heart out there. And I feel honored to be such a part of this team, because it really is about the heart of what we're doing. And it's representing President Trump, who loves this country more than anything. And it's great to be part of it. So guys, Swati, if we could leave anybody with one last thing, what do you want to share?
Everyone has a unique voice and they have a unique skill, and there's a place for them to volunteer. Join a coalition, go to armyfortrump.com. Sign up. You can be a digital activist. You can be a grassroots bundler. You can become a neighborhood team leader. But we're here to empower you, our volunteers, just like the president and the campaign has empowered us in our roles.
Hannah?
Sleepy Joe Biden, you can't take for granted these voters anymore. We're coming for you.
Heck yes, we are. Heck yes, we are. Swati and Hannah, I want to thank you both for being on today. This has been a really fun broadcast. And if you at home want to join the Army for Trump, want to join any of these coalitions, go to armyfortrump.com. You can sign up there to join the movement. Like Swati said, you can become a grassroots bundler, help make sure we have the resources. You can learn how to make phone calls. You can become part of the election day operations to protect a free and fair election in this country. Make sure you download the Trump 2020 campaign app so you have everything right at your hand, right in your phone throughout the day to know what's actually going on and push past the fake news. Make sure you text ENLIST to 88022, sign up for our text messages, and again, get all the facts straight to your phone. It has been an awesome evening with Hannah and Swati. I am so excited. Everybody stay safe. We are looking forward to Election Day, and let's get engaged to win for President Trump. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.